Hello, I'm Prabhakar Chitrapu, Chairman of the Small Cell Forum. I would like to briefly introduce the Edge Computing and Small Cell Networks white paper that we just published. This white paper was produced under the leadership of AT&T, Druid Software, and Nokia, with substantive contributions from various stakeholders in the edge computing and small cell ecosystem, namely operators, OEMs, component vendors, and infrastructure providers. I would like to briefly explain why the Small Cell Forum undertook developing this white paper. Even though edge computing is a hot topic nowadays, it means different things to different people. So, we wanted to come up with a comprehensive end-to-end framework for edge computing, spanning all the parts from all the stakeholders. Next, we wanted to highlight the synergies and intersections between edge computing and small cell networks. Lastly, we wanted to analyze carefully the various parts of the edge computing framework and identify best practices, gaps, and next steps for the edge computing and small cell industry as a whole. This slide shows the organization of the white paper. Since edge computing is a complex technology and we wanted this white paper to be a one-stop shop for all its aspects, we broke it up into self-contained parts, each with an overview, analysis, and recommendations. Edge computing brings many benefits, which are well known in the industry and are organized as shown here. They range from local, edge-specific applications to low-latency AR/VR-like applications to compute offloading applications to artificial intelligence and machine learning and analytics type of applications. The benefits of edge computing are potentially reapable by a broad spectrum of industry sectors such as automation and Industry 4.0, work sites, mission-critical services, enterprise services, and public safety. This is the comprehensive end-to-end edge computing framework that was alluded to earlier. It shows how the edge sits logically between the access and the core networks of a mobile network. Further, it shows that the edge can be conveniently viewed as consisting of five layers: the infrastructure, the edge network, edge computing platform services, and edge applications, plus an overall edge management and orchestration layer. Importantly, it also shows how each of these layers presents itself as a service offering and thereby enabling multiple stakeholders, leading to a rich edge computing ecosystem. This slide shows some detail on each of these layers and service offerings. While several of these, such as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, etc., are familiar concepts from other areas, the network as a service is a unique service offering enabled by edge computing. Network as a service is shown here graphically, where we see that the edge network essentially consists of distributed core network functions, centralized access network functions with a key local breakout function to the enterprise cloud and/or the internet. It is useful to get a reality check about the previous claims regarding edge computing and its potential. In an operator survey conducted for the Small Cell Forum, over 75% of the new small cell deployments will be co-located with edge computing, validating the focus of Small Cell Forum in this area. Now, I would like to talk about one of the central themes of this white paper, namely synergies and intersection of edge computing and small cell networks. These synergies span a broad spectrum. To start with, in the business domain, edge computing with small cell networks enables businesses to offer highly tailored application-based services to their users. In the technical domain, small cells and edge computing have local geographic footprint, making for several technical synergies in their implementations. The synergies continue into other areas such as deployments, where joint deployments of small cell networks and edge computing can bring cost efficiencies and functionality enhancement. Similarly, in the product space as well, small cells and edge computing products can absorb the functions of each other. Finally, the vendor ecosystem of small cells and edge computing has much intersection in that several stakeholders are playing in both areas. As mentioned at the beginning, the white paper goes into the details of various layers of the end-to-end edge computing framework. In so doing, we have identified several recommendations for each layer, where the recommendations are either best practices and/or gaps in the technology or standards and next steps for the industry. Essentially, small cell networks and edge computing platforms should leverage each other for advanced solutions benefiting at multiple levels. They include shared virtualized implementations leading to cost efficiencies and integrated network functions, and mutually beneficial analytics, leading to advanced functionalities to the edge computing platforms. For edge computing solutions, the edge network has to work in concert with the core network via open interfaces and APIs, which will enable true multi-vendor ecosystem. Our initial studies indicate that the current specifications are incomplete and need further enhancements. Regarding edge computing platform services and applications, open and consistent APIs across multiple organizations must evolve and align to enable a broad ecosystem of edge computing platform services and edge applications. In the area of edge computing platform solutions, blueprints or reference designs or solutions for open source edge computing platforms are urgently required for rapid growth of the edge computing ecosystem. Finally, in the area of edge computing infrastructure, our recommendation is that in determining the COTS hardware for optimal edge computing infrastructure, service providers and enterprises should not be tempted to reinvent the wheel. There are already robust guidelines for data centers and hardware design and implementations from reputed organizations such as TIA, BICSI, and OCP that should be followed. In conclusion, I hope that this brief introduction to this white paper has whetted your interest in wanting to download and read the complete white paper. If you have any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate to contact us at the email address given here, and we will be more than happy to engage in fruitful discussions. I would like to conclude with these words. As we speak, we are discussing the future work items for the Small Cell Forum in the edge computing area, which will be based partly on the recommendations in this white paper as well as discussions with other industry forums engaged in the edge computing space. Together, we are looking forward to identifying the most pressing and fruitful work activities and drive the edge computing and small cell industry forward. We hope that you will join our efforts and make this a success. Thank you.